Hello and welcome to this episode of Peak Life. Today we are talking about the state of business here in the city of Chesapeake. And with me to talk about that from Economic Development is Preston Wilhelm.
Hey, good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. We certainly appreciate it.
You work with Economic Development, who is the department that is kind of in charge of really boosting Chesapeake as the place to work.
Sure.
Right? So how are we doing? What's going good here in Chesapeake?
We're doing well. Obviously, we had some setbacks during COVID.
Yeah.
And COVID really impacted our retail and office sectors. But the unique thing about Chesapeake is our strength is the diversity in the business community.
Okay.
And with that diversity, the industrial sector has continued to stay very, very strong. So what does that mean? That means advanced manufacturing. It means DOD. As you know, we have a lot of Department of Defense contractors in the city of Chesapeake, and they've been booming. So while, yes, retail and office has seen a little bit of a decline, the industrial sector, again, has remained very strong and very robust, and that's why we're positioning ourselves for the future to land some more of those important advanced manufacturing jobs for the citizens of Chesapeake. So
That's very smart. So you know, we often hear from citizens, well, like, what's economic development doing to get me, a insert retail store here?
Sure.
But it sounds like that. Sure, that's an important piece. But what people have to realize is the businesses that they often don't see every day are part of the diversity of our community and are really, really critical.
Exactly. So if we land an employer that employs 300 citizens, the people that care mainly about that job, those jobs are the people working there.
Sure.
Everyone wants to see the retailers land in Chesapeake. We want to see the retailers. We work very hard at that. But the best thing we can do sometimes to attract those retailers is to land the major employers, the basic sector employers, the small businesses. They then employ the people who will shop at those retail locations. So the retailers are kind of following the businesses once they locate, and they look at the number of households in an area, the demographics, and that's how those retail locations end up where they are. It's a really unique situation where they study the demographics. They want to know that they're going to have people shopping, and if there are people working in the area, what we call daytime employment, then the retailers look upon that favorably. They're probably going to live in the area too, so you're going to have both the daytime traffic and the nighttime traffic for people that want to shop or dine. That said, we recognize the importance of the retail sector in the Chesapeake economy, and so we work very hard to help recruit those types of businesses. For example, we have 2 large regional malls in Chesapeake.
Yes.
I could go on for hours about malls and the potential redevelopment of malls and why that's a challenge. But make no mistake, we're targeting retailers. Entertainment, you're starting to see new entertainment type businesses take the place of some of the old big box retailers. And so those are exciting things that I think we have to look forward to. Are there some challenges? Certainly, and I could expand on those for probably an hour. But I think today, we're focused on attracting those entertainment, high-end restaurants. The specialty grocers are some of the things we have our eyes on and are trying to recruit to the city of Chesapeake. So.
Well, tell me more about our future. What
Sure.
are we looking for? What are those big goals that we really hope to get?
Well, one of the most recent exciting developments is the acquisition by the Chesapeake Economic Development Authority, which essentially acts as the planning commission, if you will, for the Economic Development Department. They're our board, if you will, and they've recently acquired a remainder of the Chesapeake location of Mitsubishi Chemical.
Okay, that's over there, Greenbrier-ish?
It's right on Volvo
area,
Parkway, adjacent to Summit Point or across the street from Summit Point.
Great.
And again, that's a roughly 90-acre piece of property that's targeted at advanced manufacturing. The city, at the direction of City Council, the city manager, the city administration, has said, look, we want to target those high-paying advanced manufacturing sector jobs, and they've had the wisdom to take those steps to put that into place. We can now control the use. By we, I mean the city has the ability to control what businesses go there. We don't think it'd be appropriate to have big box distribution there. You'd be impacting the citizens too much with traffic and that type of thing. What we want to see are these advanced high-end manufacturing jobs. So that's one of the items we have in the future. The other item, again, is Summit Point, which is across the street, the Dollar Tree development. I think everyone has heard about this, seen the construction
That's an exciting spot now, yeah.
It is an exciting spot. I mean, if you think about Virginia Beach Town Center, that's roughly 25, 30 acres. The Summit Point property is roughly 70 acres. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so you're going to see that develop over the next 20, 30 years into a significant town center type development where you're going to have mixed use, live, work, play is coming to Chesapeake, and you've seen a couple of the high rises as an example. So.
It's very exciting, and it sounds like you have a really fun but challenging job. I mean, so we now, or the Economic Development Authority, they are able to purchase land, and then we are all able to decide, or City Council decides, here's the types of businesses we think should go in places like that.
Yeah, well, obviously the zoning
Sure.
would sort of dictate what types of uses can go there. But again, the Economic Development Authority, at the request of City Council, has acquired a 90-acre property that, again, was formerly part of Mitsubishi Chemical's property. I want to make it clear that Mitsubishi Chemical is going to stay in place with their advanced manufacturing operation. And consistent with that will be the businesses we try to attract, like UPO is another good example, an international company that does synthetic paper and a lot of other unique products. And these jobs and these type of businesses create jobs that are very attractive for the Hampton Roads region.
Yeah.
It's a workforce that's ready to go. And so we're very excited about the opportunity. Quite frankly, we could sell that property tomorrow. We've got a lot of interest in it.
Wow.
But what we want to see, again, the EDA at the direction of council is able to be somewhat selective in the type of businesses that locate there. And that's the reason I think the EDA at the direction of council and the city administration wanted to acquire that property.
Well,
and so we're very excited.
That's definitely the position that we want to be in, right? We want to be able to be the ones who are picky and say, no, we want this company coming to Chesapeake.
We don't want to compete with the private sector, but at the same time, we want to set the tone for the type of businesses that locate there. And again, the target for the EDA and for our staff is advanced manufacturing. Those are good paying jobs, very unique positions that are available, career path type positions. So we're excited about that. And again, I mentioned Department of Defense contractors. They're very similar in nature to advanced manufacturing in many ways. Although they may not be making a product, they're helping the U.S. Navy, the federal government. So we would be supportive of those type of operations there as well. And we're talking to a couple of those folks. As you know, we have a lot of existing businesses that are in that sector.
Yeah.
My boss, Stephen Wright, and the mayor, Mayor Dr. West, in fact, we visited one of those businesses just last week. And so we're trying to, again, cultivate those existing businesses because those relationships and those businesses are just as important as attracting a new business as well. So,
not just about bringing new, but also about taking care of the folks.
taking care of the folks you've got. Right now, you mentioned COVID at the onset of the conversation. And candidly, since COVID, what we've seen is a lot of difficulty, attracting and retaining a skilled workforce. So that's something our office also gets involved with, is making sure those existing businesses have the ability to attract and retain good quality employees. And nowadays, because of COVID, it's certainly an employee market, if you will.
Yeah.
Where folks have the ability to kind of pick and choose where they go. You're seeing a little bit more turnover. So that's one of the ways we get involved with our existing business, trying to help them out, trying to make sure they're successful. And again, even on the existing business side, we're often competing for an existing business expansion with other locations throughout the United States or even internationally. So that's a big challenge for our office, and that's why we stay in touch pretty consistently with our existing industry.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned challenges, and we don't have an hour, but are there a few key things beyond COVID that are challenges for whether it be the city or your department in general?
Yeah, well, there's always going to be challenges in the marketplace that we can't predict.
Sure.
You mentioned COVID again.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that people would be working from home? And Chesapeake has a very strong professional business services back office sector.
Okay.
We've always been a strength. Why is that? Because you have exiting military, you have trailing spouses of the military. They make great quality employees, maybe for part-time, again, back office, professional business services type jobs. Some of those positions, some of the companies we're dealing with now are saying, look, we're not going back to the office at all. And so we have seen a lot of vacancy in the office sector.
Okay.
But so our department is positioning ourselves with developments like Summit Point and other office projects out there to recruit and attract some of those type of operations, because we have a lot of office space and we don't want to see that vacant. Again, that goes back into creating the daytime employment opportunities, which helps with retail recruitment, et cetera. So I will say the office sector is still a little challenging.
Yeah.
But we're starting to see some steps, and we think the tide will turn probably 18 months from now, when some companies say, look, we're going back to the office.
Yeah.
There's going to be a real demand for the office space, if you will, and in the office sector, and we're well positioned to capture a lot of that business. So
I'm glad to hear you're well positioned, because it sounds like you guys have to be really flexible. So much is out of your control. You kind of got to, switch up how you do things to reflect the market, to reflect the businesses that end up coming in, that sort of thing.
yeah,
So,
in our office, our business, we're really kind of matchmakers. We try to put two parties together and hope that, and try to facilitate them coming to an agreement. Is it always easy? Is it always perfect? No, that's another challenge that we face on a regular basis. But what we try to do is make it so that it's as easy as possible for the business to locate, expand, be successful. And at the same time, we have to balance that with the needs of the city, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So it's a real balancing act that we try to, try to maintain, but it sometimes is a little tough.
Yeah.
But in the retail sector, I'll talk about one more challenge.
Yeah, please.
And again, with the regional malls,
Yes.
a lot of regional malls, they're important to a lot of the citizens. They went shopping there when they were kids. The big box retailers are in trouble financially on a national level. So you're seeing a lot of those close. You've got a lot of big box stores that need to be redeveloped, repositioned in the marketplace. What we're seeing again is the entertainment sector. What makes that a challenge is there are at every regional mall and a lot of shopping centers, there are multiple owners of these mall properties. Okay, so for example, you may have a big box that owns their own parcel, which we have a case of that at both of our regional malls. Then you have another owner who may own another parcel. Then you have the mall owner who owns the inline shops, if you will. And so in order to redevelop those properties, you've got to have all of those folks in agreement. And that's not such an easy thing to do. And again, that's where we're kind of the matchmakers, is we try to sit everyone down and say, hey guys and girls, let's see how we can make this work for everyone and come to an agreement. And at the same time, it's got to work for the city. It's got to be something the city's interested in having at that location that is compatible with the surrounding uses. And for that reason, it's definitely a challenge, but our job is to try to facilitate that and make that work. But again, the multiple ownerships, all of the agreements, if you will, whether that's a lease or ownership between the mall properties, the different ownerships in the mall, that's a real challenge and something we're faced with every day.
You're like business therapists. Got to get everybody
Basically.
Together. Okay, great.
It's hard, and so we try our best to do that on a regular basis. We do see again some trends in the retail sector, entertainment. So that's something we have our eye on. That's what everyone enjoys. That restaurants, you're still seeing restaurants do well even after COVID.
Great, yeah.
We're starting to see quite a bit of that, and there's some exciting developments at Summit Point, for example.
Yes.
And other places that you're going to start seeing, the restaurant sector really flourish in Chesapeake. So.
Well, I'm excited about where we're headed. So, Preston, final thoughts: is Chesapeake a great place to work?
Absolutely. Chesapeake is one of the best places to work. Again, I can't stress to you enough how key the diversity is in Chesapeake, in our business community. And that helps us weather downturns in the economy, helps us stay... Pandemics, exactly. I mean, it's a real asset for Chesapeake and something that the leadership has worked very hard at taking those steps, like the purchase of Three Oaks Industrial Park, doing that to make sure that our economy is diverse and there are opportunities for all citizens and all levels of jobs. So.
Well, Preston Wilhelm with Economic Development, we're excited. Sounds like
Yes.
good stuff coming. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That does it for this episode of Peak Life. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.